by having an event like this, it means you're right around the corner for fall camp. So what's it mean to come here and talk about your kids?
I mean, it's always good to talk about your kids, your program. It makes things, promotes high school football in the state of Georgia and in the nation, because people really come into the state of Georgia and look at what's going on, especially programs like ours in Brookwood and Parkview and North Gwinnett, and some of the bigger high-profile programs. You get to know the kids, you get to know the coaches, and it makes it just a lot easier on media.
It sure does. And there's some tradition at Norcross, not only some state championships, but some pretty darn good players. So
yeah,
for the people watching this, talk about the program and who's come through here.
Well, we're excited about what's going on over the years. I'm going on my 22nd year there. We've probably got, I don't know what the numbers are this year with the pro level rosters because they haven't been set yet, but we were number 2 last year. We had 7 on rosters, and hopefully those 7 and maybe 1 or 2 more will get on rosters this year. You got your high profile people like Alvin Kamara, Bryce Butler, and Lorenzo Carter, Chris Herndon. So we've got got a lot of kids in the pros, and we got a lot of kids in college, and that's what it's about. That using football as an engine, especially the Division II, 1AA, using it to get an education. And that's our whole goal at Norcross, is these kids work so hard, we want them to go on and be successful in the classroom.
And, obviously talent takes you to the NFL, but tradition within the program helps develop that talent too. So tell the people a little bit about the tradition. What are some of those things that are in your foundation that you've had for 2+ decades?
Well, a lot of things I've learned. I learned from my dad and my brother. My dad was a high school football coach in the state of Georgia for over 40 years, and my brother was a high school coach for over 30 years. So that's 70 years of experience that I kind of lived off of to build my career and the things that we do at Norcross High School and how they treat kids. And that's the biggest thing, the tradition of what we do to help kids go to college and then to be productive in society these days is that's what we're focused on. And tradition, we can go back and talk about what we did in 2012-13, winning 2 state championships. But bottom line is each team is held on their own merit. They've got to be their own leaders. They've got to be their own people. They got to hold each other accountable. The coaches can't. And again, I've got a great coaching staff that has been, a lot of them have been with me for 15, 18 years. And so these kids know the coaches, they've been in the program, and they've worked hard to get to the level to be able to play for Norcross.
Mm-hmm. And then let's talk about some of the kids you brought here by name today, who they are and what you expect out of them leadership-wise and on the field.
My kicker, Kellen, he's a committed to Army, and he's done a great job. He follows 2 really good kickers, Jake Camarda, who's at Georgia, and Cole Hanna, who's at South Carolina. So he knows what he's got to do because he's following in footsteps, and he had it on his own last year, and he did a great job. And then we've got a receiver, Randy Smith, who's stepped up, and we look for great things out of him. He's more of a, not this big, tall receiver that we've had in the past. He's more of a scat back receiver type that we can get him the ball and just let him do things with. And we've got a little, you wouldn't look at him and think he's a defensive end, led the team in sacks last year, but Tyron Long has come off the edge and really did some good things for us at defensive end. So those 3 we look for great things out of, along with a lot of other people. We are still a young team. Last year we made the 2nd round playoffs. We, looked on the field against Grayson. I got 15 sophomores out on the field in the 2nd round, and we had a great opportunity. Should have beat them, but we didn't. But we move on and we gain experience, and that's what we're looking for this year, is a good blend of our senior and junior class to lead us to a region title and hopefully on to a state championship.
And then last but not least, what are you and your staff, your longtime staff, talking about the boxes you got to check off in camp to know that you're ready to compete for what you want to try and compete for?
The biggest box that we've got to check off is quarterback. We've got a couple kids. We've got about 4 kids competing for the position now, and they're all juniors. So it makes it tough on us as coaches. And they're all really good, and they're not really separating themselves just yet. So that's going to be our big challenge during these next 3 weeks, is getting it down to 1 or 2 so the reps, those guys can get the reps, because when you're trying to work a lot of quarterbacks, it's just the continuity's not there. Even though they're not that much different athletic ability-wise, it's just the continuity's not there. So we got to trim that part down. Once we check that box off, I think you'll see our team develop and grow as the season goes.